New Meridian. In 1892, the Mississippi River Logging Company closed its mill at Happy Island, Old Meridian. The post office then moved to the present New Meridian location, soon to be followed by the rest of the village. My Meridian memories. My earliest memories are rooted in the gentle rhythm of our farm and the quiet little settlement of Meridian, a place that never held more than 50 souls, but somehow was bordered by a winding creek and the broad steady river beyond, with woods that seemed endless to a child, full of secrets, adventures, and the kind of freedom that only those early years can hold. At times, that same river would rise beyond its banks, flooding the lowlands and reminding us of its power, turning familiar ground into something briefly wild and untamed. Meridian was the heart of everything. It was where life gathered and lingered. I spent 5 formative years in its one-room schoolhouse where lessons were shared across ages and friendships were stitched together day by day. Twice daily the passing train marked time like a steady heartbeat, its whistle echoing across fields and through memory. There was Albert at the repair garage, a man who could fix nearly anything, and just as importantly, would always take the time for a good conversation while he worked. Otis's store stood ready with whatever a family might need, from groceries to small essentials, its shelves a quiet promise of dependability. Each Sunday we made our way to the nearby Lutheran church, a place of tradition and community. And then there was the ferry, Meridian's small but mighty link across the Chippewa River, guided by Chris, the ferryman, who seemed as steady and dependable as the river itself. No matter the season or the river's mood, he carried people across with a quiet familiarity that made every crossing feel both routine and a small adventure. Looking back, it seems almost impossible how everything we needed, school, work, faith, and fellowship, could exist in one small place. For a child, it was a complete world. But time has a way of moving on. Little by little, the pieces that once formed that world faded away, slipping quietly into memory. What remains is something softer now, a feeling, a place carried within, belonging to a time that will never come again. This just in. City Service Gasoline Pump. The Historical Society recently received a restored city service gasoline pump that once stood in front of the Jackson Brothers garage in Meridian. Albert and George Jackson started their general repair garage in the 1930s and served the area until the business closed in 1966. Ed Snowenboss of Wausau, who married Shirley Prestbach of Meridian, later purchased the pump and had it restored. The pump was recently donated to the Historical Society by their families in loving memory of Ed and Shirley and Ragna and Carlett Prestbach. Contact was made to the Society through our board member Brian Gabriel, who has researched the history of the Meridian area. The pump can be seen in the Heritage Museum Transportation exhibit, courtesy of the Dunn County Historical Society, Menominee, Wisconsin.